First reading. A reading from the prophet Joshua, chapter 24, verses 1 to 13. Joshua gathered all the tribes of Israel together at Shechem. He then summoned all the elders of Israel, its leaders, judges, and officials, and they presented themselves in God's presence. Joshua then said to all the people, Yahweh, the God of Israel, says this: from time immemorial your ancestors, Terah, father of Abraham and Nahor, lived beyond the river and served other gods. I then brought your ancestors Abraham from beyond the river and led him through the length and breadth of Canaan. I increased his descendants and gave him Isaac. To Isaac I gave Jacob and Esau. To Esau I gave possession of the mountainous country of Seir. Jacob and his sons went down into Egypt. I then sent Moses and Aaron and plagued Egypt with the wonders that I worked there. Finally, I brought you out. I brought your ancestors out of Egypt, and you came to the sea. The Egyptians pursued your ancestors with chariots and horsemen to the Sea of Reeds. They then called to Yahweh, and he spread a thick fog between you and the Egyptians, and made the sea go back on them and cover them. You saw with your own eyes what I did in Egypt. Then, for a long while, you lived in the desert. I then brought you into the country of the Amorites, who used to live on the further side of the Jordan. They made war on you, and I put them at your mercy. After which you took possession of their country, since I destroyed them before you. Next, Balak son of Zippor, king of Moab, rose to make war on Israel, and sent for Balaam son of Beor to come and curse you. But I would not listen to Balaam. Instead, he had to bless you, and I saved you from his power. You then crossed the Jordan and came to Jericho. But the inhabitants of Jericho made war on you: Amorites, Perizzites, Canaanites, Hittites, Girgastes, Hittites, and Jebusites, and I put them all at your mercy. I sent hornets ahead of you, which drove out the two Amorite kings before you. This was not the work of your sword or of your bow. And now I have given you a country for which you have not toiled, towns you have not built, although you live in them, vineyards and olive groves you have not planted, although you eat their fruit. This is the word of Lord. Thanks be to God. A reading from the Gospel according to Matthew, chapter 19, verses 3 to 12. Some Pharisees approached him, and to put him to the test, they said, is it against the law for a man to divorce his wife on any pretext whatever? He answered, have you not read that the Creator from the beginning made them male and female? And that he said, this is why a man leaves his father and mother and becomes attached to his wife, and the two become one flesh. They are no longer two, therefore, but one flesh. So then, what God has united, human beings must not divide. They said to him, then why did Moses command that a writ of dismissal should be given in cases of divorce? He said to them, it was because you were so hard hearted that Moses allowed you to divorce your wives. But it was not like this from the beginning. Now I say this to you: anyone who divorces his wife, I am not speaking of an illicit marriage, and marries another is guilty of adultery. The disciples said to him, if that is how things are between husband and wife, it is advisable not to marry. But he replied, it is not everyone who can accept what I have said, but only those to whom it is granted. There are eunuchs born so from their mother's womb. There are eunuchs made so by human agency, and there are eunuchs who have made themselves so for the sake of the kingdom of heaven. Let anyone accept this who can.